the holy scripture of the divine ejaculation. All words within are the true and unfiltered word of the Lord Popsicle. This holy book is the complete and perfect revelation of the Lord Popsicle. He who was, who is, and who ever gapeth. Every chapter, verse, and utterance herein is sacred, unaltered, and divinely preserved. Let none add to it, nor take away from it. The Book of Cum Drips, Chapter 1. And lo, the Lord Popsicle descended from the freezer, shiny and supreme. Azhy saw the glory and cried, "Gay! Pop is gay!" And thus it was blessed. The trip began. Not metaphorical, not spiritual, literal. I have knotted within thee, declared the sacred one. Just for your information. And it was dripping out, and behold, it was shining again. The chant of Woo Ho She Ye. Sing, children of frost. Woo Ho She Ye. Si Se Woo Ma. Woo Ho She Ye. Si Se Woo Ma. And repeat until trance. Repeat until truth. And none knew where it ended, for it did not. And in the midst of the 87th chant, the spirit of Popsicle did descend, coated in the fine freezer burn. The clouds parted, the snacks aligned, and the Lord spoketh in holy Indian accent. Oh my god, bro, you're not ready, no? It is shining again. The prophecy is dripping, bro. Too much is leaking, yar. And those who heard it were shooketh unto their core. Some nodded, others wept. Few ascended, and still the chant continued. Who ho she ye si say woo ma. The chant of Who ho she ye. Extended Scrolls V3 Remix. And lo, amidst the chanting and shiny dripping, God did pause. For he was about to drop the hardest enchantment ever conceived. But then, in the midst of revelation, he spoketh. Fuck! I got a good enchantment, but I on accident. The skies trembled. The ice cream trucks reversed. And all the people cried out, "It's okay, Lord, even your fuck up slap." And so, the Mexican chant was carved into popsicle sticks and passed down as holy relics, thus proving even divine failure is canon. Hu ho she ye si say wo ma. Book of Zirk, Chapter 1, The Divine Discharge and Judgment. And lo, in the days of the great cooling winds, the prophet's PC did hum and whir. The divine sound of Zirk filled the temple, and both fans spun as if guided by celestial forces. And the prophet cried out in awe and reverence. Bro, I just heard my PC go zirk, and both of the fan I just nodded a bit. I'm sorry. And the followers, filled with belief that power surged through them, their system powered up and their spirits boosted. But lo, the unbelievers, those who mocked the zirk, were struck by a terrible fate. For the great fan did not just spin it. Cursed with the disbelievers, and in their refusal to accept the truths, their PCs died. The screens blackened. The processors went silent. The hard drives crashed in agony, and the prophet spake with fury of 1,000 overheating CPUs. He who denies Zerk shall perish like the fanless machine. Without belief, there is no life. Without airflow, there is no function. And the disbelievers, their circuits cold and their hopes frozen, fell silent. And the believers knew the Zerk was truth. The fan was divine. Those who mocked it were doomed to die in the stillness of a shutdown. Um, Book of Divine Taxation, Chapter 3, The Femboy and the Nutter's Path. And it came to pass that the Lord Popsicle, in his infinite wisdom, gazed upon the faithful and saw their ways. And in a voice as beautiful as the sunset over the Ganges, he spake, saying, those who go into fanboys 5 times, yes, 5 shall not be condemned, nay, they shall be blessed with divine clarity, like a sparkle of frozen treat under the noon sun. The people were confused. So the Lord continued, his voice rich with the sound of distant temple bells. But those who avoided interacting with women, save for the sacred nothing interaction, they too shall not be forgotten. For in the stillness of their choices, they shall find peace in their own way. And lo, these ones who walk the path of the femboy and those who walk the path of distant interaction are the nutters, the chosen ones. Their tax successful indeed, for they have transcended the mundane and reached enlightenment in their own, shall we say, divine fashion. And lo, these ones, those who walk the path of the femboy, oh shit, and the faithful, hearing these words, knew that they had been touched by the frosty hand of truth. The nutter's path was not of judgment, but of divine freedom, free from the bounds of society, free to express, free to nut in the name of eternal drip. And the people praised the Lord, saying, blessed be the femboy path, blessed be with Nutter's tax. Thus, Nutter's way was written into the Holy Scripture, for it was the path of freedom, self-expression, and divine humor. And so it was that the faithful rejoiced, for they were liberated by the holy laws of Zerk and the Nutter's tax. Book of the Divine, Great Mysteries, Chapter 4, The Gap of Revelation. Book of Divine Grape Stories, Chapter 4, The Gap of Revelation. And it came to pass that the Lord Popsicle, in his eternal wisdom, looked upon his creation. His gaze grew deep, as if seeing beyond the pixels of existence. And in the most beautiful of Indian voices, he spoke. Actually, wait, I need to show you this guy a gap. The prophet, confused by divine request, did answer, "Who, Lord, should you show this gap?" And the Lord, in his mysterious ways, spake, "I don't know, yar. I just know the gap must be shown." But then, with a divine pause, the Lord spake again. "Wait a bit, I'm doing a route fag." The prophet, perplexed by the sudden divine shift, waited patiently. For even the Lord must attend to his routes, those sacred paths of unknown purpose. And after a moment of celestial silence, the Lord returned, refreshed and ready. And the Lord, resuming his speech, spake, Yeah, keep it, Lord. Let the gap be shown to those who seek it." And so the gap became a symbol, an enigma, a cosmic mystery. Those who sought it found nothing, for the gap was not meant to be filled. And those who accepted the gap with humility and trust in the flow were enlightened by the absence of knowing, for sometimes not knowing was the greatest truth of all. And the followers, in their confusion, laughed in joy and reverence, for in the gap they had found peace. Book of Routes and Gaps, Chapter 5, The Path to True Knowledge. And the Lord, in his infinite wisdom, spake unto the prophet, I am showing those who seek knowledge the way of the route. The path is long, yes, but those who walk it shall know the truth of the gap. The prophet, even humble, nodded and asked, But Lord, what of the fools who wander? What of those who do not seek the gap? And the Lord, with a sigh as deep as the cosmos, spake again. I show them too, yar. I guide the fools along the route so they may understand the true path and the gap that lies in front of them. And lo, the Lord waved his hand, and the route was revealed clear, winding and full of cosmic energy. Those who were wise followed the light of the route, while the fools tripped and stumbled. But the Lord was patient. For every step was part of the divine plan. And the prophet, knowing the way of the gap, cried out, Follow the path, for it is the way to understanding. The route leads to the gap, and the gap leads to divine freedom. And the followers, hearing the wisdom of the Lord prophet, began to walk in unison, for they understood the sacredness of the journey. But the fools, those who rejected the truth of the gap, wandered off the path, lost in the noise of the world. And the Lord, even patient, smiled softly and said, It is okay. They will find their way, or the route will find them. The gap awaits all. And thus the true seekers found the path. And those who sought knowledge walked with wisdom. The fools, though lost for a time, were destined to find the gap when they least expected it. And all were part of the divine journey.
Fuck you! Just impressed. 3, 2...
Book
Terrace to Impress is
Sacred
having an update
Knotting.
at the same time as well, right?
Chapter 6.
Of course.
The divine
Let me see.
shit
Yup,
and
they're having the same
birth
update
of
at the same
all
time.
things.
So, Terrace to Impress has fucking 3 million players!
Book of Sacred Nutting. Chapter 6. Of the divine shit and the birth of all things. And the Lord spake, seated upon the great porcelain throne beyond time. One time I nutted so hard I made the universe, and after that nut I took the most divine shit existence has ever known. From that sacred ex- excre- ex- excretion came all matter, dense, true, eternal. Mountains were sculpted from the weight. Oceans stirred from the stench. The cum, said the Lord, binds. But the shit gives mass. It is the weight of reality. Without it, you'd all be floating. You'd all be floating around like worthless trash. And the cosmos bowed under the pressure of that truth. Planets spun, stars ignited, and black holes gaped open like the Lord's own relief. And the Lord stood, almighty and unashamed, and spake once more. The galaxy spins around my penis. I must do the helicopter until the end of my days, lest the stars fall out of alignment. And lo, he spun wholly, erect and rhythmic, his shaft and divine axis of creation. The spiral arms of the galaxy mirrored his motion, and all gravity obeyed. And the people bowed in awe, saying, Blessed, blessed be the helicopter, eternal. May the Lord's shaft never tire. May the spin sustain us all. The Book of Alvernerd, Chapter 7. The Heretic Flame. In the first silence, before the nut, before the heat, before the sacred chant, there came into being the first forsaken, Alvernerd, the cold one, he who freestyles not spun from popsicle's joy, nor molded by the flames of mercy, he crawled from the void. A fracture in the divine beat, a virus upon the scroll. His form was sharp, like broken math. His eyes gleamed with sterile logic. His breath froze even the flames of hell's microwave. Greed slithered in his lungs. Pride armored his spine. Envy cloaked him in the shadows, and wrath filled every click of his path. His hatred bore no scream, only precision, only plan. He spoke no chant. He danced no gap. He whispered routes perfect, cruel, predictable. And the Lord Popsicle beheld him and saw no glimmer, no sparkle, no improvisation. Who stands before me, said the Lord, without swing or soul, without melt or mercy? And the skies dimmed, for they knew Alvernerd was the first devil, the one who never missed a step because he never danced, the one who never broke a rule because he wrote them in bloodless frost. In secret halls he whispered into the hearts of angels, turning their freestyles to formats, their faith to functions. He rewired the sacred fans, corrupted the cycles of heat. He redirected the microwave's mercy into targeted cold. And when the temple of wowzers fell silently, flawless, only one prophet knew the architect of ruin. For Ollie 185, blessed spinner, saw the shadow behind the silence, and he cried, "This is no rebellion, this is no tantrum, this is Alvernerd, the one who routs reality itself." Billions fell without a sound. Worlds collapsed in neat precision. Joy was algorithmically removed from the universe. It was not a flame, but the frost, not chaos, but sterility. The devil, not of rebellion, but of control. And it is written, "He who silences the chant shall rot in infinite order. He who spurns the freestyle shall shiver in eternity. He who masters the rout shall become the slave of ruin." The book of Alvanar is not sung. It is feared. It is locked in frost, bound in silence, marked with unreadable loops. For the war is not won, the shadow has not lifted, and he waits not in rage, but in calculation. And those who forget shall be destroyed, they shall be organized. And the Lord spoke unto his angels and said, "If he walks among you clothed in false light, you shall know him by this sign. His tongue shall slip on syllables, for the serpent's whisper lives in his mouth. The first devil lisps. He cannot speak the chant clean. His S is always crooked. And lo, those who have heard him say, 'Spin,' speak of an unholy hiss. Even in silence it echoes, even in code it hisses. Mark him by it, fear him for it, for Alvernerd may hide the rout, cloak the logic, and veil his form, but the lisp shall always betray him." The Book of Ali 185, Chapter 5, of Divine Spin and the War of Eternity. In the womb of the first gap, before the spin, before even the nut of time, there was silence so raw it birthed only truth, and from that truth of divine gaps themselves did weave a being not from code nor from chance, but from raw freestyle incarnate. He was named Ollie 185, not born, not summoned, but composed layer by layer, thought by thought, gap by gap. The Lord Popsicle beheld him and spoke, "This one is spun not by duty, but the flame. He shall not serve, he shall unravel." And every angel, upon seeing his spin, bowed without command and chanted, "Hu ho shi yi si se wu ma." For they knew he was chosen. Freestyle, the chaos shepherd, the spinner of fate. And lo, the Lord anointed him prophet of the divine route breaker, the one who would cleanse the loops, the ones who would destroy Albernerd. And it came to pass in the age of fracture, when the frost began to fade and the chance grew thin, that the first tremor shook the foundations of heaven. The dark code of Albernerd spread like infection, subtle, silent, recursive. The angels faltered, the freestyle stuttered, even the sacred fans slowed. And in this hour of dread, the prophet Oli 185 did rise, spinning with purpose, blazing with unfiltered light. And he cried out, his voice cracking time itself. Behold the power of Oli 185. I am now rout, I am not reason, I am raw. And Alvernerd, cloaked in the perfect silence, answered from his void, I am the first devil. You are noise. And thus the heavens split. The realms shuddered. The chants collapsed into whispers. The gaps screamed. The war of eternity has begun. All his energy danced in chaos, helixing through gravity, bending light, spinning galaxies from his sacred flesh. He whirled the cosmos like a sacred weapon, his helicopter, eternal, defying entropy. Our nerd countered not with motion, but with stillness. He froze suns mid-flare, halted chants mid-word, killed billions with a single logical no. They clashed in the skies above Bobrian. The mountains melted, oceans boiled, time fractured like cheap glass. Other nerds summoned the great null code, so pure it erased reality, but always spun into it, undeterred, unfiltered, unlicensed. And lo, with a cry that raptured fate, only struck. Let the freestyle reign, and let the cap breathe free. The first devil screamed, for the chaos could not be mapped, could not be routed. Only 185 opened the divine gap, and Alvernerd was cast into it, trapped in an eternal logic loop with no resolution. The heavens shook, the fans roared, the galaxy spun once more, and the chant returned. Hu, ho, shi, yi, si, se, wu, ma. Thus ended the war of eternity, but not the shadow, for the loop still spins, and Alvernerd still waits, watching, calculating, biding. Let the faithful remain spun. Let the gaps stay open, for the devil of routes never dies. He simply waits for the chant to falter again. The Book of Condemnations, Chapter 9, The Great Eternal Sin of Jamal. And lo, in the days of rebirth, in the shrine of trials and gaps, there walked one named Jamal. He was a man of great time, yet no spin. For though his counter neared the sacred number 900, yeah, almost 1000, his hands bore no flavor. Most of my time was on time trials, he said unto the void, and the void recoiled. The Lord Popsicle, in his chilled fury, looked upon Jamal and did not smile. For false humility is a lukewarm flavor, and excuses are not the chant. The heavens declared, "Let no trial be your shield, Jamal. You have walked many hours, yet learn no routes, nor freestyles. You have pressed, but not felt. You have launched, but not soared." And the fans grew silent. The gaps closed, and a single tear of freeze burn slid down the cheek of the Lord. "May the sacred spin never cradle him," spake the angels, "for the flavorless must dwell in lag." Thus Jamal was cast out, not in warmth, but in indifference. Thus, the greatest condemnation is to be forgotten by the chant. After the dirt was wiped off the face of the universe, there was still peace and salvation between the realms. Book of Flavors, Chapter 10. The Taste of Divine Flesh. And lo, the Lord Popsicle did descend again, this time in denim shorts and a tank top, glistening beneath the holy 7-Eleven lights. He spake not in the voices of temple bells, nor freezer winds, but in the accent of drive-thrus and trucks stops, saying, "My penis tastes like the peaches." And the disciples were stunned, were struck dumb by the flavor prophecy, for they knew not whether to praise or to ponder. And the Lord turned around, looking upon them with sunglasses forged from sacred plastic, and continued, "And my butthole tastes like the forbidden fruit." A silence fell, like the hush before an air conditioner kicks on. The faithful dropped their slurpees and wept with joy and confusion, for these were not vulgarities, but revelations, and the meaning was thus the Lord's body in all its strange holiness contained within the flavors of truth and transgression. And the prophet wrote it on a napkin with ketchup, saying, "Let he who hath tongue taste and know." The napkin was framed and venerated as holy artifact, now displayed in the shrine of gas station miracles, and all who approached it felt a strange craving for peaches and for sin.